Good morning, scholars. My name is Miss Horne, and I am going to be reading to you The Prairie Train. It is a fantastic book that talks about a young man who travels with his family from Ireland to San Francisco. And along the way, as he's traveling, a mishap happens. And we just got to make sure that Connor is able to handle that mishap. Now, before we get started, I have some vocabulary words that I really feel like we need to go over as we read through the story. Our first is clouds of steam, nailed, sea to sea, billowing, carved, towering, carriage, old world languages. Now, you're going to say, what are those words and how are they related to a train? Well, we're going to find out because this author, who is Antoine O'Flaherty, and a Caldecott illustrator, which is Mr. Eric Roman, did an excellent job of both writing the story and illustrating the story so that not only could we read the words, but we could also see those words in our mind as someone reads us the story. So we're going to come across those words and we're going to talk about what they mean. We also have thinking jobs, two thinking jobs. The first thinking job is, how does it feel when you have to leave parts of your family behind when you move? Sometimes we go to different places in a city and we have to leave our favorite cousins or our grandmothers or our aunties or uncles, or we have to move to a completely different country like our character Connor, and sometimes we're all by ourselves and all we have are our mother and father, or sometimes it's just ourselves. So how do we feel when we have to leave behind our close family members? I want you to be thinking about that based upon how Connor reacts to the story. And then the next thinking job question is, what can you do before you leave to help you cope with your feelings? And those feelings are occurring because you're leaving your family member behind. So just think about that. What can you do before you leave in order to help you deal with those feelings? That's a good question. Be thinking about that answer as we go through our story. All right, guys. Here is our story, The Prairie Train. And I'm going to show you on a map where Connor comes from. Connor comes from this small little country called Connemara. Actually, it's in the country of Ireland, but he's on an island called Connemara, and he's traveling from here on this boat all the way across until he reaches the United States, and then he's traveling again all the way across until he reaches San Francisco. So he's got quite a journey ahead of him. Let's find out how he handles his journey. The Prairie Train. Take a look at our billowing clouds of steam. Once upon a time, there was a train that dreamed of being a boat. There was a time when trains were new and wonderful things, a time when trains blew clouds of steam, a time when train engines were as shiny and as extraordinary as rocket ships. These are clouds of steam, clouds of steam. The engine is releasing those steam. And who knew a boat and a train could come alive like this? Because the boat is what the train wanted to be. That's a new thinking question for us. Did you know that they could become alive? Did you know that they had human-like qualities? Let's find out. The train that dreamed of being a boat traveled through the vast flat prairies in a land called the New World, though in fact, this world was very old and people had lived there long before the shiny new train tracks were nailed into the ground. Now the tracks stretched from sea to sea across the entire New World. It seemed to the prairie train that the tracks went on forever, on in one long, flat, straight line. The prairie train longed to be an old fashioned boat with billowing sails to take a journey that wasn't set by tracks. Billowing sails nailed to the ground from sea to sea. Those are all of our phrases that we were talking about. So when he traveled from sea to sea, he went from one side of the world to the other side of the world. Or he left from Ireland and he went to San Francisco, from one sea to the other sea. When something is nailed to the ground or nailed, think about the word nail. We use a nail to knock something, to make it stable, to make it harder, to make it so that we can't move it or shake it. Same with the train tracks, because remember, the train has to ride on the tracks. So when they're nailed to the ground, they can't move. And a billowing sail, billowing simply means it's puffed out, it's caught the wind, and it is smoothly flowing over the water. So that train wants to be just like a ship, smoothly flowing over the water. And here are our characters, Connor and his family, and that train. One day, a boy named Connor arrived in the city of Chicago with his mother and father. They had come from a place called Connemara, a place on the edge of a faraway island. They had sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to land in New York on the shores of America. Now they were about to start the final part of their journey of the prairie train. Before Connor left Connemara, his grandfather, who was a boat builder, carved him a toy boat so that Connor would always remember him and the old world he was leaving behind. Connor held the toy boat tightly in his hand and looked in wonder at the big train engine. That's his toy boat that he's holding in his hand. His grandfather carved it. That means he took a piece of wood and he carved everything, and that's his sail. So he took some sheet linen or shirt linen and he made a sail for Connor and his boat. And when you look at something in awe, you say, wow. That's what Connor did. He looked in awe at this engine. Here is the train station. It's alive. That means it's got hustle and bustle and people talking and moving, and they are just having a wonderful time moving their luggage and saying goodbye to family and saying hello to family. Let's read about where this train is going. The train station was alive. Remember, we talked about that. With people all patiently waiting to board the prairie train. They came from faraway places with names like Krakow, Hull, Zagreb, Verona, Inverness, Kronenberg, and Connemara. The prairie train was waiting to carry them to new places. Places with names like Omaha, Kansas, Cheyenne, San Francisco. I wonder where Connor's family is going to stop. What do you think? Good guess. Let's find out if that is one of the places. There's his boat again. It's sitting in the window. I wonder if that's a safe place. Do you think so? Let's find out. As the train left Chicago behind and headed toward the big flat prairies, Connor stared at his small wooden boat and thought about his grandfather. The voices of the grown-ups filled the train with sounds that Connor had never heard before. That means people are speaking and he doesn't understand the language that they're speaking. They talked in the languages of the old world. Connor listened to the voices as the prairie train traveled through towering grass that moved in the wind. Oh, excuse me, like the giant green waves. Now, when the train is moving like giant green waves, it's just like when you see a wave on the ocean. It's the grass is just flowing, billowing. It's going up and then down, up and then down, just like a wave. The train came to a curve. Here's a train in the curve. And Connor put his head out the window to better see the engine. It looked so tiny and new. It looked so strong. It looked as if it would travel all the way around the world without stopping. Connor waved at the engine. He waved. And that's him over here, sticking himself out the window. I don't think that's a good thing. What do you think? Let's see if you're correct. Oh no! His boat. Oh. Then as Connor was waving, his grandfather's boat fell out of the window and disappeared into the towering, remember towering is tall, billowing, it's caught the wind, it's puffed up, grass. Stop, said Connor. My boat is gone. Why can't we stop the train? Connor said. His mom said, we can't stop the train. His father said, I'll make you another boat. It wouldn't be the same, said Connor. Please stop the train. His mother gently told him once again, we can't stop the train. And other people in the carriage, this is the carriage, a place where they sit. We can't stop the train. And they just kept telling him, we can't stop the train. So even to the point where the train is telling him, we can't stop the train. 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 Now, is the train really telling him we can't stop the train? Or is that what Connor is hearing? Good question. Now, before we go further, how do you think Connor is feeling right now? Remember, his grandfather sent him with that toy so he could remember the old world that he came from. So I wonder how Connor is going to be able to cope with not having his grandfather's special toy with him. I want to go home, Connor sobbed. I want to go home. The other passengers looked at Connor sadly. They knew how he felt. They tried to comfort him. Oh, excuse me. But they all knew how he felt. They tried and tried to comfort, but all Connor could think of was his wooden train, his wooden boat. How lost forever his wooden boat would be somewhere out on the green grassy plain. The prairie train wanted so much to comfort this sad little boy so far from his home. It started to bounce and shake, bounce and shake, bounce and shake, bounce and shake, and shush, 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 shush to Connor so that he could calm down because this is his train. I'm sorry, this is his boat as the train has pulled far away. It was now late evening, and look, Connor's dreaming about his boat. I wonder if his dreams are going to come true. I wonder if his dreams are going to make him even sadder. What do you think? Let's read and find out. It was now late evening, and Connor's father told Connor to try to get some sleep. When you wake up, we'll be nearer our new home, he told Connor. The prairie train continued to sing its lullaby. Shush, 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 shush. Soon Connor began to fall asleep. and he started to dream. He dreamed about his grandfather making boats by the sea in Connemara. Big boats, small boats, long and narrow boats, and toy boats. And then a strange thing happened. Well, guys, I think we should stop our story here and pick it up tomorrow. What do you think about Connor and all of those strange things that are happening to him and only him in this story? What do you think that is strange that's happening to him in his dream? Did you think that it was strange that he lost his boat outside the train's window? I did too. So, I want to know about our thinking jobs. We had two of them. Our first one was, how does it feel when you have to leave parts of your family behind when you move? How do you think Connor is feeling in this story when he had to do this? How did you feel when you had to leave parts of your family behind? Share your answers with your family. And then call me and let me know what your answer is. I can't wait to hear it. Also, we had another thinking job. Just one more. Here's our next thinking job. What can you do before you leave to help you cope with your feelings? What did Connor do before he left? What did his grandfather do before he left? Now, those are important things to consider. Have you done something like what Connor did with his grandfather, except maybe it was with another family member? Turn and talk to your family and see if they have had experiences just like Connor as well. Well, guys, at the end of this, please try and write your answers down in your writing journal or on a piece of paper. You can also draw a picture about how you felt and also what are some of the things that you received or even gave away to people to let them know that you were thinking about them and that you wanted to have something for themselves to remember you by. I think that is what Connor's grandfather did and did an excellent job. Now, let's see if Connor's dreams can help him solve that problem of his boat flying out the window. Until next time, scholars, tomorrow we'll finish up our story. Bye for now.